Hi Edie, it's Amy. I just wanted to show you a little video of everything I have for the New York trip because I spent forever on this and I realize it's really confusing now, so I thought I would show it to you. Alright, so I have a Google map of everything that we're going to do in New York, and I'll start by telling you the key. So here's LaGuardia over here, and it's got the little airplane, and then your hostel is the yellow pushpin, and then everything that we're going to do is on the left over here, and it's in order of when we're going to do it. Day 1 is blue, so all of the blue little blobs down here are day 1. Day 2 is green, so we're mostly up here, day 2. Day 3 is yellow, and day 4 is pink. So I'm going to get to your place. I'll switch over here to the Google Doc to show you our schedule. I'm going to get to your place, who knows, depending on the flight and the luggage and everything and the taxi ride, but sometime, hopefully between 11:30 and 12:30. I figure we can I'll put my stuff down, change, we can go get lunch, kind of chat a little bit and not have to rush off to do something. And then hopefully by 2 we'll be able to, and we'll need to take a subway for this, we'll be able to go over to the World Trade Center, which is down here. And we'll just look around there. There's a few little touristy places down there. We've got, and we'll actually walk past this with the next thing, but we've got down in Zuccotti Park down here. Down here, there's a 9/11 Memorial Museum. Then over here is a Tribute World Trade Center Visitor Center. So we can pop in those if we want to. If not, I feel like it's just something we need to see, or I would like to see at least. So after we do that, we're actually going to walk down eventually we'll get to the Statue of Liberty, but I figured here's Wall Street right here. We can check out Wall Street. Here's the New York Stock Exchange. It's nothing that we need to stop at, just, oh, look, there's Wall Street. And then we actually just walk right down here, and this right here is the park. I don't remember the name. The Battery Park. And then right here is actually where the Statue of Liberty ferry goes. And the one that you found is the same as the one that's included in our pass. I was just a little confused about the Staten Island ferry, what that was compared to this, but the ferry to the monument and to the museum and entry into the museum is included in our pass. Okay, so that would be then, and I think we would need to make reservations for that. So I have us getting World Trade Center, spending, about an hour. We don't need to spend that long, but just taking our time. And then about 3:30 we would try to be over to the Statue of Liberty to be able to do our cruise. And then when we're done with that, we can walk along the East River here, all along up East River Drive, and right here is the Bodies exhibit, and that's open until 9 p.m. on Sundays, or on Saturdays. So before we do that, we can actually come over, and this is where we can get our tickets to the next day Broadway show. So we can stop here and try to get those tickets. Hopefully that will work. If not, I have another thing scheduled for tomorrow if we can't get them. So after we do that, we can grab dinner, and I have us going to the Bodies exhibit at about 7 o'clock. That way, it closes at 9. That way we'll have a good time in there, and then we can go back after that, so we have something to do at night. So that is day 1, and then on day 2, it's a really busy day. Sunday, we're gonna have to leave by 7:15 to fit everything in. I figured we'd start at the top of the Rock, which actually opens at 8. And then, we go up there. We actually have a fast pass on our tickets, so it shouldn't take that long. And then we can do an NBC studio tour at 9, which we have to do reservations for, so I figure it's better to do them at 9 than do them at 8:30, just in case we don't make it to the top of the Rock. And that's going to be about an hour, so we'll be done with that by 10. And when we're done with that, then we can just walk around, stuff like that, and then we need to make it over to the Broadway Theater walking tour by 11. That starts at 11, so we need to be there a little earlier. I say we should leave the Rockefeller Center at about 10:15 because it is, I think it's at a 20-minute walk, 15-20 minute walk. So over here we need to do the we already did the NBC tour, I'm sorry, the Broadway Theater walking tour. That's a 2-hour tour and it does all through Broadway. And it starts at 11, so it'll end at about 1, which is the exact same time our Accomplice New York thing starts. And we don't know where that will be. So depending on where the Accomplice New York is and depending if the Broadway Theater walking tour really takes 2 hours, we might have to duck out of it a little early and jump on a subway and go over to wherever we need to meet. But we can figure that out the day of. I just feel like it's a good walking tour to do. We don't need to do it for the whole 2 hours, but we can just, you know, duck into a shop or something if we need to. So after that, we do Accomplice New York. Again, I don't know where that's going to be, but who knows? I know we're going to go around Chinatown, so I don't know where we're going to meet, but we might have to take a subway. And that's at 1 o'clock. When Accomplice is over, if we are by Canal Street, which I will show you where that is. Canal Street is actually kind of down by where we would have been the day before, the Statue of Liberty and everything, but it's still quite a bit of ways. It's right in between the two, so if we are in that area, I'd like to stop by Canal Street to try to get one of those cheap handbags, you know, the famous ones, but if not, there's another time we can do it. We can do it on a day when we don't have the pass, and that's only if we're over there. If not, we can go back up to Times Square to get the tickets for the Broadway show if we hadn't gotten them the night before. If not, if we have gotten them the night before, we still need to go over around Times Square because that is right where the Madame Tussauds and the Harry Potter is. So Harry Potter, I think we need to make reservations. Yes, we do. We need to make reservations for Harry Potter, so I figure we'll do that at about 4:30, so that gives us an hour after Accomplice to do whatever we need to do or look around Times Square. And then I have Madame Tussauds at 6. I feel like an hour is more than enough for Harry Potter. And if not, we still have a little buffer, and I don't think Madame Tussauds needs, I think we could just walk in there. We don't need a reservation, and they're right next to each other. So that should work out nicely. The only thing I am worried about is the Broadway show, because that's at 8. So we can do Madame Tussauds, we can have dinner, but we won't be able to go back to the hostel that day, so we need to be, you know, not in shorts or anything like that. We need to at least have something that looks kind of nice so that we can go see the show that night. I don't think we need to be too dressy, maybe jeans and a nice shirt, but we just need to be prepared for that. Day 3, which is Monday, I actually have a starting over at the Met. I had to play around with this a lot, but I think this is how it's going to have to work because we had a large block of time here, and the Met was only close to Central Park, which we're going to do on the last day when we don't have the pass. So we're going to head over to the Met. It takes about half an hour to get there on the subway. You know, we'll probably stay there for about an hour. And then we have the on-location bus tour, which I thought was really cool. It said that it's going to pick us up, it actually said Times Square, so I don't know why that's in Central Park. But the on-location bus tour, you can actually go to their website, screentours.com, and it has all these really cool, we're going to do the New York TV and movie sites. This is included in our pass. And it pretty much, we're on a bus for 2 hours. They take us to all of these tours of where Friends was apparently filmed, even though it was in LA, but the Friends apartment, I Am Legend, just all of these cool little movie spots. But the best thing is we get to sit on a bus and see all this stuff. We get to get off and take pictures and stuff like that, and we get to see all of New York on a bus instead of having to walk everywhere. So that'll get that whole Chinatown and everything out of the way without having to walk through that. So I think that will be really cool, especially since it's included. So that will be 2 hours. That'll be until 1. And then we can get lunch, stuff like that. And then at 2, we can do the Radio City Music Hall Stage Door Tour, which I assume will take about an hour. After that, we can do the Museum of Modern Art, which is right next to the Radio City Music Hall. And then we can walk down about a 15-minute walk to Grand Central Terminal. We can just look around there. That shouldn't take long, and we can always take the subway there if we wanted to. Right next to that is the Chrysler Building. So we can look at that. And this is very general. We don't have to do, it's not exact times here. It's just walking around. Next we would do the New York Public Library. Just look around there. And then this is where it gets interesting. We would actually, what I was thinking, tell me if you're okay with this, go from the New York Public Library down to the Museum of Sex. The Museum of Sex closes at 8, so we could go there. I have us going there at about 6. At 7 we can do the Museum of Sex. So, you know, right before dinner we do that, and then we have dinner while it's getting dark. And then I thought it would be a lot of fun to do something different since we're going to the top of the Rockefeller anyway. Maybe for the Empire State Building we do it after dark. And they are open till 2 a.m. and the stupid ride thing is open till 10. So we'd have plenty of time. But I figured, yeah, we just grab dinner somewhere around here and then we'll go up to the Empire State Building and check that out. And I think that would be really cool to see New York from the top there at night. So that's right down here, 9 p.m. Empire State Building and Sky Ride. And that's the end of Monday. And then Tuesday is our most casual, relaxed day because it is the day that we don't have our pass, so we don't have to stress ourselves out at doing anything. But of course I had to plan shopping. So I have us going over and to, we'll hit Central Park and everything like that. But I figured we actually start over here at Bloomingdale's. This is right where we would get off on the subway, and Bloomingdale's is right here. And then there's Dylan's Candy Bar there. I've heard of that. That's been in a few movies. I'm sure it's a chain. It's not a big deal. We can stop by if we want to. If not, that's not a big deal. So we would go to Bloomingdale's right here, go down. I would love to see a New York Victoria's Secret. I love Victoria's Secret. So there's one right there, right by Bloomingdale's. So I could check that out. And then we actually walk right down 58th, and FAO Schwartz is right there. Actually, right down the street here is the St. Regis, which is the famous hotel, and the World of Disney store. So if we wanted to, we could do that. If not, no big deal. After FAO Schwartz, here's Madison Avenue right here, and here's 5th Avenue right here. So those are huge shopping areas. I looked at it, nothing really caught my eye, so I'm sure everything's very expensive. But right here is Central Park. And on the other side of Central Park is the Trump Tower and Hotel. That's the famous one. We can actually look at a street view of this. So this is the Trump Tower that everyone, I don't know, it's just one of those landmarks, but it is all the way across Central Park. So we could do that if we wanted, we could cut it out if we wanted. That's what's great about keeping things casual, especially on the last day. Oh, Brooklyn Fertility Center. Alright, so after that we could just walk through Central Park. They just had a lot of general things like, I don't even know what we could see in Central Park. I'm sure you'll have been there by then, but they had like a Ferris wheel or whatever the animal things are. I don't know. So whatever, there's Central Park there. And even though the Met is right there, we won't have our pass that day. That is why I did the Met earlier in the week. Alright, and then finally all I have left that day, if we haven't gotten around to Canal Street, I'd really like to do that, even though we would have to take the subway there because it's pretty far away. I think it'd be fun. It'd be a cute little experience. It's right in Chinatown, so we can stop, get some noodles, something like that. And then the rest of that day, I mean, it's really what, my brother will be with us that day. He's totally fine with shopping, though. I'm sure he'll be more excited about shopping than either of us will. So, I'm excited about FAO Schwartz. That's something I really want to do. Canal Street's something I really want to do. And then just the rest of that day, like if we didn't have enough time in Times Square, we could go back to that. Anything we saw that maybe we wanted to do later, we can do it on this day. And then that evening, we will drive to Boston. So that's about it for my little craziness. I've been working on this for hours, like nonstop. I got obsessed. So I made you a few notes. That's just the key for the Google map. Some things I took out just because we couldn't fit everything, and some of them just didn't make sense. Like the Central Park bike tour for 4 hours. Why not just do that bus tour for 2 hours and see the same things, you know? Especially if we're walking through Central Park. And the New York, the game Harlem was far away, stuff like that. Just things we didn't really need to see. If you want to see any of that, just let me know. I'm fine with putting it back in. We can fit it in. That note is just about the Statue of Liberty. Ellis Island is included in our pass. And then we need to choose a Broadway show. I guess we can choose when we're there. Hopefully Chicago will be available. But there's not much else. So I hope you liked it. I hope it's everything you want it to be. And I hope this will be able to send to you because I just did this for like 10 minutes. Alright? I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.